Moving on to the last game that we have here on our slate. I'm cheating a little bit. It's not a weeknight game, but cool announcement. The Lines.com College Football Podcast is now also available on the WDRB Plus app in Louisville and around Kentucky as sports betting launches in my southern neighbor, both of our southern neighbors. They do have sports betting now coming to them. So we're also on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So hello, Louisville. Hello, Kentucky. Thanks for having us. We're going to talk the Louisville Cardinals, who are 10-point favorites at a neutral site against Indiana. They're playing this game at Lucas Oil Stadium. Kicks off at 12 p.m. noon Eastern on Big Ten Network. Has an over-under 52 points. Indiana, how about this? Defense is good. I'm ready to say it. I'm ready to put it out there. Defense is, I think, legitimately pretty good. They held Ohio State to 23 points, and now Ohio State had their own issues in terms of play calling and quarterback play and just kind of not getting it done. But I do think a lot of this could be attributed to Indiana having a pretty solid defense. They held Indiana State, FCS team, mid-level. I get it. Under 100 total yards in the game. Like, it's good stuff. Their defensive front, I think, looks really good. Western Michigan transfer Andre Carter leads that group on the defensive line. He's a stud. They have an athletic group, particularly in their linebacking core and safety core. I mean, like, they're flying around. They're coming down. They're turning the ball over. They're making tackles at the line of scrimmage against teams that are genuinely excellent, like Ohio State. So I think we could get used to Indiana being like this kind of feisty, fiery option team with a good defense. Certainly worse places that the Hoosiers have been in the past couple of years. Their quarterback, Brennan Sorsby, he's the passing guy, but boy, he has not been great. 5.2 air yards per attempt. Blech, gross. Taven Jackson, he's the more athletic runner, and he's got a bit more pop through the air, too. He's about 10 air yards per attempt. And then Jalen Lucas has been terrific running the ball, 5.3 yards per carry so far in the season. I mean, this is just a true option, Kelly. It's what they're running right now, and I didn't expect it. Maybe if I was more tuned in, I would have expected it, but like, it's looking good. It's visually appealing. So Indiana, don't take them lightly. This is a pretty dangerous team that I think is well improved from last year. Good defense, weird offense that can, I don't know. I haven't seen if it can get done yet. They got it done against Indiana State, I suppose. And then on Louisville side, not many data points to take away from the Murray State game. Pretty easy win, 56-0. Cruise to it. Jawar Jordan, still absolutely dominant. Yards after contact on average, 10.5. That's most nationally. Now, a lot of those have come on big chunk yards where he runs through a couple of tackles and breaks 60 more off of that. But he's going to need all 10.5 of those yards after contact on average against this Indiana front.
Yep, this game, you mentioned it, Brett, it's right here in my backyard, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, which is where I live. Because I live in Indy, I hear about IU on the radio. Now, granted, we're usually talking about basketball when we're talking IU, but they have been talking IU football on the radio recently. I think Jackson's been named the starter for this game against Louisville. I have Louisville minus 10.5 with a 77% chance to win. Louisville started the year power rated number 39, and they've risen to number 27. They've improved by more than 3 points compared to the average FBS team. So much of that improvement, by my numbers, is due to last week's beatdown of FCS Murray State, which saw Louisville land in the top 10 of my biggest movers this week. I talked about Utah State being the biggest. Louisville's in the top 10. The defense has been slightly worse than I projected, but it's the offense that's been much better. They've improved from number 51 to number 27 on the offensive side of the ball. I think that's a Jeff Brom effect coming in right away and kind of putting his stamp on it. As a Purdue grad, we enjoyed having Jeff Brom up at Purdue for as long as he was there, and what he did for the Purdue program during that time was great, and he's certainly doing that for his hometown team and where he belongs, which is as the head coach of Louisville. Despite Louisville being just the 6th highest power rated team for me in the ACC. They're the 6th highest power rated team in the ACC. The Cardinals now, by my numbers, have the second best chance to make the ACC Conference Championship game at 35%. So again, it's only 35%, but that's still the second best behind only Florida State, who's at a whopping 87%. It's due to the schedule. So Louisville has a pretty easy non-conference schedule. They don't have to play Clemson. They don't have to play North Carolina. They don't have to play I'm blanking on the other one they don't play out of the ACC. North Carolina, Clemson, or who's the third one that they don't play? I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. They don't play the big contenders in the ACC. So that, to me, is why they have the best chance to make it to the ACC championship game behind only Florida State. Indiana, on the other hand, better than expected this year, as you said, improving from number 80 to 64 overall. The defense is to credit, like you said. That unit came into the season projecting number 99 for me. They're all the way up to number 64. I still have IU as the worst team in the Big Ten East. They have the worst offense and the worst defense in the division. So it's not roses for IU. Interesting note here, this was supposed to be game 1 of a 3-game contract that would see IU play at Louisville next year, and then that IU would host the Cardinals in Bloomington in 2025. Just yesterday or today, IU paid $1 million to get out of that game next year, and now they're replacing Louisville with an FCS opponent. Not a fan of that move. Not a fan of IU as a Purdue guy, and we're talking to the Louisville crowd, so I'll be rooting for Louisville here in this game. Florida State, that's the other one. As I'm sitting here, they don't play Florida State, they don't play Clemson, they don't play North Carolina. 3 of the teams that have among the best power ratings. It's a very good schedule for Louisville, just to close the loop on that one. Bottom line, Louisville minus 10.5, 23% chance for the Hoosiers to pull off the upset here in Indianapolis.
Okay, I'll let the Louisville residents jump on your bandwagon and be fans with you. I'm going to paint a less rosy picture potentially of this game here.
It's just what the numbers say.
Some of my picks. Yeah, for sure. Yep. No, I need better decision making from Jack Plummer. Against Georgia Tech, I was not impressed. A lot of kind of throws on the night. A lot of turnover-worthy plays that I still don't have data from because apparently just they didn't collect data on that game at all. Indiana secondary, they'll make you pay. They picked off Kyle McCord from Ohio State and held him without a touchdown. So you're talking about that kind of caliber of wide receiver core. I know that Marvin Harrison Jr. had that touchdown that got called back because he ran out of bounds. But you're talking about that kind of caliber of receiving core, and you held him without a passing touchdown. So this secondary playing really well, and they will pick Jack Plummer apart if he's going to be making those kind of poor decisions like he did against Georgia Tech here. I don't love laying the 10 when Louisville's away from home. I know it's a neutral sighter, but kind of not really. I don't love laying the 10 here. Here's where you may get mad at me. I may lean under Louisville's team total if I can get it at 32 or better. It's showing 31.5 at FanDuel. It's juiced. If I can get a square 32 or higher than that, I will absolutely take under their team total here. That doesn't mean that the Cardinals aren't going to win, and it's not saying that they won't even cover the spread, because I don't know if Indiana is capable of scoring a touchdown against an FBS opponent. Guess we'll find out. But I'm a true believer in this defense. I think the way, the scheme, the way these guys are flying around, the athleticism, I think they're going to be pesky, nasty, annoying, kind of like how Rutgers was a couple years ago when they held Michigan to like 17 points. That kind of defense is what I kind of expect from Indiana for the rest of the year here, just because they just don't quit. They're obnoxious. They're, for in all the best ways, they're obnoxious there. But yeah, if I had to lean here, I think I'm going to take Louisville's team total. I will take under that.